Good morning, afternoon or evening, wherever you are. I'm Paul Clark and welcome to the sea. Now, last time we did one of these wave videos, someone thought it was really funny to chuck a bucket of water at me. Yeah, this time. So, we've got 3 lovely dramatic wave videos for you today. So, come and join me and we'll paint this step by step together. Okay, so for this first demonstration, I'm using some Bockingford Rough 200 £. It's nice and thick, so I don't need to stretch it, but any decent watercolour paper will do. Just 3 colours, 3 blues, cerulean blue, cobalt blue and Prussian blue, and 2 brushes, a number 6 round and a number 12 round. Off we go, and I'm using a grotty old brush and masking out a few white highlights, and I always prefer the coloured masking fluid, as you can see where you've been. So with my number 12 brush, I'm starting with a nice watery mix of cerulean blue, and while still wet, dropping in some cobalt blue. Now, there's no reference photo for this one, as it's basically made up. I'm also frequently dropping in clean water to keep the paint moving and blending. And of course, a little bit of splattering with a mixture of the 2 blues. Now I'm using the Prussian blue, which is a lovely deep dark blue, to get in some strong shadow sides to the waves. And here I'm just dabbing out with a tissue to get some watery textures. So here I'm just building up the washes with lots of water and various mixes of the cobalt blue and Prussian blue, constantly re-wetting with clean water and lifting out colour with a damp brush. Next, with my number 6 brush, I'm painting in with a much thicker consistency of the Prussian blue, wet into damp for these shadows on these distant waves. Okay, so let's remove this horrible masking fluid, and I'm now painting on top with some cobalt blue and some cerulean blue, and back with my number 12 brush. back with my number 6 and just building up these washes slowly. Now let this totally dry, then take a slightly damp tissue and softly rub some of the wave tops to create this suggestion of fine spray. And finally, it's magic scalpel time to scratch out these little flicks of white spray. Okay, so let's leave it there, shall we? So for this next demo, I'm using some lovely Arches 140-pound cold press, and it's on a gummed block, so it shouldn't warp too much. My colours are cobalt blue, alizarin crimson, some yellow ochre, cerulean blue, burnt umber and Prussian blue, and 3 brushes, my mop, a number 12 and number 6 round. Off we go! Wet the sky with some clean water and drop in some bands of cerulean blue and alizarin crimson. Now straight away I'm lifting out this wave shape with a scrunched up ball of kitchen paper. Now it's worth noting that different papers will lift out in different ways, but as long as you do this before the paint has time to sink into the fibres, you should be able to lift out the paint. Next, I'm quickly painting in the rocks with some yellow ochre, then softening some of the top edges with clean water. Now all done, wet in wet, dropping in some burnt umber. Now with the tried and tested technique of dragging and scoring into the paper with a plastic card. And now with a stronger mix of the burnt umber, I'm adding in wet in wet some darker shadows. For the sea, this is a mix of cerulean blue and Prussian blue, and softening with clean water and lifting out again with a tissue. Here I'm dropping in a little stronger mix of the Prussian blue. Now for the calmer water in front of the rocks here, re-wet again and drop in all the same colours. Now when this is dry, I'm coming in with a stronger mix again for these ripples and dragging it across to create these lovely textures. And now I'm just going to build up the shadow side with some more burnt umber. Softening technique again with a piece of tissue to blend out and create that lovely fine spray effect. So here I'm just putting in some yellow ochre into the lighter areas in the rocks. So for the shadow on the big wave, I've used a purple mix from cobalt blue, alizarin crimson, and just a little touch of cadmium yellow. And I'm dropping this in, making sure I leave the top edge of the wave nice and white. And as before, the final touch, a few little white flicks with the magic scalpel. And I think we're done. So about an hour later, I'm looking at it with fresh eyes, and I think the scene would be improved with a few little seagulls. And I'm just using some white gouache here. Sound effects, please. And I think it would also be a perfect time for a short break and a glass of what else but Sharp's Sea Fury. And for this final demo, the paper I'm using is the Arch Block again, and then just 3 colours: Payne's Grey, Yellow Ochre, Alizarin Crimson, 4 brushes, I mop, 3/4 inch flat, number 12 and number 6 round. So here is the photo reference, and it's an angry sea at our local beach here at Bexhill. And I've converted it here into black and white, which will help me determine which parts of the wave show up as light and which parts as dark against the tonal value of the sky. So with the exception of the salt and the wax, which you'll see later, all the stages of this demonstration use basically the same techniques as the previous 2 demos. So I'll let this one run through without nattering over top. Just enjoy it. hope you can see here that feathery effect created by the salt once it's dried. So I will explain just what I'm doing here. It's just that I feel I can make the white wave just pop a little by bringing out the contrast of the sky behind it. So there we go, we're finished. And I think it's nice to do something a bit dark and moody for a change. Well, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did, and you'll give them all a go. It's great practice. And just remember, every time you paint, you'll gain valuable experience. So coming up now are some lovely rough seas taken from our Facebook group from one of Margot's challenges. So please take a look, there's some great work. Sorry we couldn't include everybody's, just too many. We just picked these at random. And as always, thanks everyone so much for watching. Please don't forget to press the like button or even the dislike button, leave a comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and of course I'll look forward to seeing you all again next week for another Watercolour Wednesday. Take care, bye for now.